Hi everyone, I'm Kaylee Taylor, and my has it been an interesting month in the world of energy and sustainability. As we all know, 400,000 people met in New York last week to become solid or get some solidarity around climate change and getting action around tackling it. The Rockefeller Foundation announced that it would be divesting from its fossil fuel investments. As you may know about how the Rockefellers gained their fortune, this is quite an ironic and large statement. And here on Canadian soil, we had our own little bit of celebrity when Leonardo DiCaprio went to the Alberta oil sands and made a very public ice bucket challenge to our Prime Minister to call attention to the impact of the oil sands. If there is one thing that is certain, it is that energy and sustainability are mainstream, front and center. But what that calls to my attention is a few truths about the energy landscape that make it very challenging to get to solutions. The first is that change is so rapid in energy, sustainability, and our world in general. In the last 10 years, we've seen the US move from being one of the world's biggest energy importers to potentially, as they're calling or predicting, becoming energy independent by 2020. We've seen the costs of solar decrease so rapidly that they're now competitive with many forms of fossil fuels. And we've seen countries that were heavily invested in nuclear power completely turn away in the wake of Fukushima. If there's one thing that is certain in energy, it's that everything is uncertain. The whole debate is polarized and emotional. It's become an us versus them game. Labels are dished out incredibly liberally. You're either a hippie, a tree hugger, an oil baron, a corporate, an environmentalist, but either way, these labels are dangerous because they silo people. It makes it incredibly difficult to have a debate and a dialogue when there's so much emotion involved, and when the tweets and sound bites that dominate the conversation only tell parts of the story and make it very difficult to wade through misinformation. And most importantly, there's a disconnect from our energy system. Energy means quality of life. It provides us all with the things that we need and want. If you look at anything in our society, I'll show you how energy enabled it. Transportation, communication, refrigeration for vaccines, you name it, energy's there. And yet, in a good way and a bad, our energy systems are so in the background. It's made it so easy for us to take advantage of using them without actually understanding what they mean to us and how important they are. And so here we are, with energy and sustainability at the forefront, at an inflection point in the mainstream, and we face these challenges about the way that the debate and discourse go about. And so tonight I'm here as what I believe to be the next generation of energy leaders to ask the current generation of leaders for a new way of approaching these topics. I think we need to completely revolutionize the sentiments that we hold in tackling and reaching solutions. We need to be honest. Very honest, not just as policymakers and companies, but also as consumers. It's impossible to capitalize on our opportunities if we're not being honest about the challenges that we face. We also need to be willing to listen and be open and understand these multiple perspectives and what energy means to different people and for different things. We need to be brave. It's incredibly hard to be a leader and to step outside the box and to be the one who does it first. But if there is one nation that is poised to do that, it is Canada. We have the most educated public on the planet. We have a vast array of natural resources that can allow us to do so much. But I feel we may be lacking in the bravery department, and we need to increase that. We need to be human. This sounds a little strange because, of course, we are all human, but we need to be human when it comes to energy. We I think energy is difficult because there are so much data, there's so many mechanics behind it, but ultimately it's about what humans need and want. A barrel of oil is not valuable because it's a black liquid. It's valuable because it allows us to transport ourselves. A solar panel in the developing world is not valuable because it's a piece of plastic and some wires. It's valuable because it allows a child to stay up 2 to 3 hours later at night and study and educate themselves, or a farmer to check his field at night without being bitten by a snake. Energy means quality of life, and we need to bring that human element back to it. We need to realize that the objectives are what we're ultimately after, and energy is a means to an end and not an end in itself. We need to ask ourselves the question of if we can meet those objectives without always needing more. It's a difficult thing to do, but it's a human thing to do, and we need to do it if we're going to achieve solutions. And finally, and I think this is most important, not only for the current leaders, but for future leaders, we need to be optimistic and pragmatic at the same time. Or, as I've recently heard it referred to, we need to have our head in the clouds and our feet on the ground. I have absolutely zero tolerance for the status quo. And not because I necessarily think that we're doing something wrong, but because I truly believe we can always be better. Having our head in the clouds means that we can aspire to a vision of a sustainable future that works for everyone. And having our feet on the ground means that we can be pragmatic and realize that we are in a marathon and not a race. We can take the necessary steps and realize a transition. I have personally committed to keeping my head in the clouds and my feet on the ground, and I hope you will all as well.